Welcome to the NBTLT podcast with your guides to this magical journey, Lon and Zumi.
Welcome back to the NBTLT podcast, the only podcast that makes me go gay for Mole Man. I'm Lonnie.
Nobody goes gay for Mole Man.
And I'm here with Zumi.
That's a Simpsons reference, by the way.
It is a Simpsons reference, and you did just show me the video, so now I know who that is. And as you can tell, Zumi wrote the intro this week, so I didn't know who the fuck Mole Man was until about 10 minutes ago, so I apologize. Send us a message on Twitter at NBTLT Podcast or mail at NBTLTpodcast.com. How you doing, Zumi?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
How are you doing?
I'm feeling fucking fantastic.
I get a slight headache, so that's...
Well, shit. Are you going to be okay?
I'll be all right. I mean, it's just time to visit my chiropractor, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Going to segue into one of the notes here, so go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I'm just saying. I got to go to my chiropractor.
Now, what kind of chiropractor work does he do? Because they have different styles. They have the traditional, they have the Gonstead, and then they have
Gonstead.
Yeah, it's some way of like popping everything, but they don't do I forget what the thing is that they don't do that makes them specific to who they are. But basically, it's like it's a physical therapy instead of just like do your chiropractor work once and then wait a few months and then come back. It's like they have you come back like every week for a few weeks, and then after you're completely done, that's when they release you.
Yeah,
because that type of chiropractor work, they consider it to be. Like I said, like a rehab almost, physical therapy, get everything to work again before they completely release you.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess...
Sorry, I just bombarded you.
No, that's fine. No, he's the best way I can describe it is he's a hybrid. So...
I mean, you didn't find him on a street corner, did you?
No. It's actually he was actually a guest speaker. One of my teachers brought him as a guest speaker, and I really liked this guy because he he brought his table and stuff, and he's talking about it, like his work and all that's in a performance type setup. Okay. Like what he would do to like athletes and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and there was this guy in my class, a veteran, and he told him like, "Hey, I have this condition," and this chiropractor flat out told him, "I can't help you with that."
Wow.
Yeah, he's like, I can make the adjustments, but it will always go back to the way it is. Like you'll always get that pain just because it's I don't know. Can't remember if it was like genetics what were involved or something like that, but he flat out told him like, yeah,
well, that's actually good.
I can't get you at 100% again. So
yeah, I've heard a lot of people that have been told, they go to the chiropractor and the chiropractor tells them to come back in a couple of months, and then these people find out later on that, oh, well, I have this wrong, so going to the chiropractor is not going to help me ever unless I get this fixed first. Right. It's like, you can only do so much with that kind of work. And, but I mean, one of my favorite YouTube channels that I was watching, I don't remember the name of it, but the guy did I think it's called Gonstead Chiropractor. But he's an Australian guy. And he does all that stuff. Like he has the meter that he runs down someone's back or their muscle or whatever, and it tells you the heat levels within the muscle. Like if it's higher than the one closer or close to it or whatever, and it tells you if there's tension in it and all that stuff. But he helps all kinds of people. Like there was some kid that came in that was totally hunched over, could barely walk, and he had to come in like a few times before he could actually stand up straight. But I love watching that stuff. I love watching people get like that, not instant relief, but like the releasing of the tensed up muscles. That's cool.
Yeah, I've never heard of that, but I'll ask him. But he does a lot of the like the traditional stuff, and he's the only one in southern San Diego, or the southern county of San Diego, that does the it's called NUCA.
Yeah.
So it's the National Upper Cervical Something Chiropractic.
Okay.
So his thing is like he if needed, he'll start with the Atlas, which is your C1.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Atlas adjustment is the most important one that he can do, or to somebody, right? Like I was really fucked up. Like I was like 5 degrees to the right.
Ouch.
So as soon as he adjusts that, like, dude, like on the first day, like I stopped snoring.
Yeah.
It was like really, like I was like, I didn't know that I could breathe this way.
Yeah.
And then he adjusts, the rest of your spine. So his theory is, if I adjust the Atlas, which is the one that controls everything, then I can move everything else. It's like most of the traditional chiropractors will adjust based on where you feel pain.
Yeah.
But they'll leave the Atlas alone. And if the Atlas is misaligned, then everything else will eventually turn the way that it was. Like it's messed up because the root is controlling it.
That makes sense.
So he's like, yeah, I go to all these conferences because I have to go to 2, right? I have to go to the traditional ones and I got to go to the NUCA ones.
Yeah.
And I start talking. They don't want to hear this shit.
Yeah.
They're all like, oh, traditionals are stick with traditional, and all the NUCA guys just stay with NUCA. Like, no, it's just the upper cervical, like, the one that will fix everything. And it's just like, no.
Yeah.
So, like, every time I go with him, and I just, because I only see him for like 10 minutes, and every time I talk to him, I'm like, seriously, I want to go back to school and become a chiropractor.
Yeah.
Like that's how good this guy is. And recently I took my wife and my oldest, and dude, it's just a couple of days. So we were doing doubles.
Yeah.
So the way he describes it is like you can do an adjustment, wait 30 minutes, and your body is ready for another one. It'll reset. And the adjustment that he does, it's not like if you go like 6 months, like it'll go back. It's like, no, it just stays. Right? So the only way that bones can move if there's force. So
is that what they have to do, that like that hitting pressure or whatever?
Right. So the only way to get it back into position is through force, and that's what they do. Damn. So he and then he like there he said like yeah, the number one like cause of injury is the floor, like in a car accident, when you hit somebody else, like there's like some give, but with the floor there's no giving.
Yeah. Like
the floor is the worst thing that can happen to you, like hitting a fucking wall or the floor. It's just like so like I said, so with me, I actually didn't do my full treatment. So, like, when he was muscle testing with me, he's just like, yeah, you're going to need, like, around 15, dude. Like, you're, like, really messed up. And I think so far I've only done, like, 8 in a course of, like, 2 years, 3 years. So
you still got some jacked up things in there.
Yeah, so it's one of my goals this year is to, like, finish my actual treatment. But with Anna, since she just got out of surgery, she was still having some pain in her abdomen. So I'm like,
it's probably not a good idea.
It was not the abdominal adhesions and the ones that are causing pain. So I took him to my chiropractor, and he's checking. He's like, oh yeah, dude, like she has like a lot of pressure on the hip area. So he's like telling me all this stuff, and it's like, Did she have an accident like when she was a kid? And because I thought it was gonna be because she was T-boned. I think I remember telling you.
Yeah.
And he's like checking her neck, and it's like, no, the Atlas is fine. And he's like, it's like all the pressure is coming down from the right hip, And it's like, was she in an accident and stuff? And I asked her, and she's like, oh, I fell out of a wall, like, on my butt when I was a kid. And so he's like, yeah, that could be it. So most of the adjustments that he's done on her have been on just releasing the hip. And
just making it go back to where it's supposed to.
And dude, like, my wife she had an episode like where she was just like in excruciating pain, like she can't move and stuff. And he's like, well, the good news is that I can actually see it.
Yeah. And
he did the adjustment, and she like, I'm like, how do you feel? And she's like, I feel no pain.
You're like, sweet.
And she's just, it was just like really emotional for her. Like, she started crying and stuff.
And that's what makes me want to be a chiropractor.
Yeah, and she was like no shit, like out of all the stuff that we've done about like my pain, like this is the first time that I've got like that instant relief.
Yeah.
And she's like, it hurt like a motherfucker, but yeah. She's like, but I don't feel any pain. And lately she's getting like those abdominal pains still, but she's like, they're not intense. And they're not as frequent as before. And she still has 4 adjustments left on, based on what he did. But if you're ever down in San Diego, his name is Dan Spinato. And
Spinato. I think I know. Maybe. Oh no! My parents were Dr. Lamone. He was a good guy.
So you can find him on Facebook and just Google Spinato, just like it sounds. And like I said, you just go and talk to this guy for 30 minutes, and like I said, you'll be amazed of the stuff that he like knows. Like right now, he has it's a machine that vibrates, right? It's like a massage. It looks like a massage machine, one of those like you put on your neck and it gives you like vibration.
Sure.
But from what he was telling me, is like it puts your body on a 12 hertz frequency. And just by holding it like close to your body, dude, you just like automatically feel like a change in your I'm gonna call it energy field, and I'm gonna use that term loosely, but dude, you just feel like it's like, like that was weird.
Yeah. Well, that's
so I guess if you ever done like a Reiki session, that's how it feels.
Yeah.
Like, energetically, you're just like, I feel different, but I don't know why or how to explain it.
Yeah. Well, I think what we've talked about this before, like the guy that had that vibration machine or whatever that vibrated cells and stuff like that. That has got to be one of the most amazing things to me is the vibration technology. And no, I'm not being dirty. I'm talking like there was the one guy who built that machine or whatever because his wife had cancer. He couldn't afford to go and send her to cancer treatment and stuff like that, right? So he is an inventor, engineer, and he finds out that every cell has a vibration point. And in fact, not only every cell, but every piece of matter in the universe has a point at which it vibrates that it breaks apart and dies or, gets destroyed.
Right.
So he came up with the machine that, and now I don't know how true this is, but the story is that this machine, he could tune it to the level that would break apart the cancer cells without damaging any of the other cells within her body. And like within a few weeks, I guess she didn't have any cancer left in her body.
That's interesting.
But it's not as crazy as it sounds. Like at first, like if you hear that story, you're like, oh, come on, man. Like it's basically sending out, like you say, a frequency.
Yeah.
And all that frequency is doing, just like it would for a wine glass. If you send out a certain frequency, then that wine glass breaks apart. It's the same thing, and it's pretty amazing stuff. And that's why I think all that binaural beats and stuff like that, people are all into that stuff now. That stuff actually does work. Like that one song that I sent you by Marconi Union. I think it's called Weightless or something. Yeah. Where they tell you don't listen to it while you're driving. I listen to that a lot when I'm studying and stuff because it's, seriously, it's very calming. But it's just the frequencies.
Yeah.
And that's where you get all those conspiracy theories about MK Ultra and all that shit,
Well, there's a couple of like, I think they're Japanese studies where they have music and like the flakes of like snowflakes.
Yeah.
Right? They change shape.
Yeah.
Based on what kind of music they're playing.
Yeah, I think I saw a video. Either I talked to you about it or I saw a video. Oh yeah, I did see a video because they showed like what happens if you play certain frequencies or if you speak certain things to the snowflakes or whatever, then they change into like, depending on the type of language or the type of sound or whatever, the shape they take, it could either look like a terrible glob of frozen nothing, or if you give it like positive tones and stuff, it all of a sudden turns into like a beautiful crystal and everything.
Yeah, like a symmetrical.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
It's weird. Like I said, I take like I said, I take the Bankston approach on this, and this I don't know.
Yeah.
Something happens, you feel better. If you ask me how or why, the answer is I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know it worked. And it works. If it works, I'm gonna do it. If it doesn't, then I won't. But like I said, it's some really really cool stuff. And like I said, with my oldest, he's actually sleeping better, and he's not snoring at all right now. So
I might look into that for my oldest son because he snores, and God, he's only he's gonna be 6.
And this is something that I was really, really cool about it, is that I didn't tell him shit about what my son is, because I'm always testing him, right?
Yeah.
So
you want to be that guy.
Yeah. So I'm like, so here my son is, he got diagnosed with this, and he's like looking at him like, oh, well, let me take a look. And so he's like looking at him, and he's like muscle testing. He's like, yeah, there's still a lot of pressure, like cranial pressure on the right side. And then he's like, was he a C-section? And we were like, yeah. And he's like, he was like in a bad position, wasn't he? And he's like, yeah, he was like stuck in my wife's rib cage. He's like, yeah, that's where all the pressure is coming. So as soon as he did like the first adjustment, it's so funny because like my son just looked taller. And
he probably was, dude.
And then he has like this stick, right, that measures your hip alignment.
Yeah.
So he was like, it was like tilted. It was like 5 degrees. This line, and it was like back at 0. And he's like, oh yeah, like that's beautiful right now. And he's like, I'll take a deep breath, and he goes, and he's like, I'm like, oh, like he didn't like, it didn't sound like constricted at all. Yeah. Like he was actually like taking full breath, and now he's like sleeping a lot better, like a lot better,
and probably sleeps like, through the night.
Yeah. He like, there was some occasion like, it seriously, Lonnie, it sounded like he had sleep apnea. Like all of a sudden it would be like, like, dude,
you're like, holy shit, are you okay? Yeah, it's all that stuff is interesting. I think it's cool that they can do it to do it for the kids as well. I saw that one guy on that YouTube channel. He was doing it to his not all this stuff, but he was doing it to his like 3-month-old daughter. But he was doing like, he wasn't popping or anything like that, but he was like, moving her arms and stuff like that, because I guess she had almost was born breech.
No.
And she was just at a really tight spot and everything, and he noticed that she, like, whenever she was laying on her back, she had a hard time and she was crying and stuff. So he's like, oh, all I'm going to do is, kind of pull her arms into her chest a little bit, and then you pull up, or whatever he was doing. And after he's doing that and he massages her tiny little neck for a little while, like, she just stops crying, and he lays her down on her back, and he's like, and that's how easy it is. It's like, damn, dude. Oh, which reminds me, have you ever seen that, it's called like the best baby hold or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Where the guy like holds him by the butt, and he moves the butt.
I tried that. It didn't work for me.
Yeah, I tried that too, and I think it's full of shit. Because I got all excited. I'm like, oh yeah, when we have another kid, we got to try that out. So I try it. It's like, yeah, it's not working. I must be doing something wrong because this isn't working.
Yeah, I tried it with my baby when the one that works like a charm though is the fucking hair dryer.
Oh yeah,
that shit miracles, dude. They're just crying. You put a fucking hair dryer.
Have you ever tried like laying their stomach on your forearm and having their head like their cheek on your hand?
Like a football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That worked for two of my boys, but like my daughter and my youngest son, that didn't work.
Yeah. Hair dryer worked for all three.
Yeah. So what have you been up to? Yeah, I mean, I know that you did lose your first game.
Yeah. Well, actually, we lost. I think it technically is my second. So per season, we have 3 tournaments, right?
Yeah.
So the second tournament was we lost in the semifinals. So it's just one set, and if you lose, you lose. If you win, you keep going.
Yeah.
So the whole entire day, we haven't lost a single match, but we haven't played like teams that were actually gonna like compete.
Yeah.
So I don't think we got into that whole trend of like, oh, we got this.
Oh, you got cocky.
You know, we got cocky and we lost. It was still a close match, but we lost. And so I had a little pep talk with him and like saying like, hey, we gotta get into a mentality that no matter what team is on the other side, like they're gonna play their ass off to try and beat us.
Yep.
So we have our league game and we lose.
Oh.
And it's just like, hey, well, one, like the refs weren't calling anything. So like there was just a couple points that, yeah, it was completely our fault, but there's a lot of points where the refs just fucking screwed us over, and we're just like, dude, are you fucking serious? And like the varsity coach comes in and he's like has this like little smirk, and I'm like, don't say anything, Mike. Like, don't say anything. And by the way, that ref is not gonna call shit on you or for you. He's gonna call everything on you, but he's not gonna call anything for you.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, okay. And then sure enough, first 3 plays, he's like going like, come on. And then
getting ready to throw the ball at the ref.
I'm just looking at him. It's like, I told you. He's like, yeah, I know. So anyways, I had a little talk with him, and I told him like, hey, this really needs to sink in like right now, and it's the same thing as the tournament. Like I told you, like when you guys, like the first time you went to the tournament at De La Hoya and you won that tournament, like you set the standard.
Yeah. Like
everybody that I've heard like from parents, that because they kind of eavesdrop like to see what the other coaches are saying and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. All the feedback has been like, all right, guys, we know that Westview's a really good team, so we got to do this, and so it's like you guys are the measuring stick. You guys are the ones that every other team wants to beat, just to have that like that pride of saying like, oh, we beat Westview, and when they had a really good JV team.
Don't give it to them.
And it's what I told them, like you like, I don't feel like that team beat us. I feel like we just gave them that victory.
Yeah.
So it's like, you guys gotta, like, seriously, you gotta change that mentality, like now. Otherwise, it's gonna be a rough season for us. And Saturday, we had that game on Wednesday, I believe. Saturday, we have a tournament at Scripps Ranch.
Yeah.
And we won the whole thing. We didn't lose a single set.
Well, good.
And I got to beat Otay Ranch, which is kind of one of those like rival things that we
yeah
in the finals. So we beat him in the finals. We won the tournament, but I almost got into a fist fight.
Oh, sweet, dude! Which I got to tell you something about, but continue.
So originally, Scripps Ranch, they had a shitload of teams, right, for this tournament.
Sure.
And so they borrowed Westview to do half of their tournament there. So we did our pool play at Westview, and then we traveled to Scripps Ranch. And originally we were just gonna have 2 nets set up. We're gonna pull out the bleachers so that parents can sit there and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
In the morning, they change everything, and they're like, "Oh, now you're gonna have 3 courts, and if we have 3 courts, we can't pull out the bleachers at all." So we had to like set up chairs, and the way the chairs are set up, or like the design of the gym is, the chairs ended up at the end of the courts. So
you mean like either end like vertically instead of like on the sides?
Correct. So if you sit
terrible.
down, you're seeing one team's back.
Yeah.
Like
there's no
my
depth.
back is to you. And because there's a middle court, they're all together. Whoever plays in the middle court has to stand like at the end court.
Oh, that's fucking terrible.
Right? So anyway, so we were on the far court at the beginning, and then on the last 2 matches we had to switch to the middle court. And so we finished the first set, we go to we switch courts, right?
Yeah.
And this guy just comes back to me, and granted, like I was in a fight or flight mode at that point, so I don't remember much of the conversation or how it all began. But at the beginning, I thought he was joking, and he grabbed me, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Well, can you move to the side, please? Because you're blocking all the parents." And it's like, and I just remember blah 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 blah. You're being really really rude, and I'm like. So the next thing I remember is like I'm going to like this fucking military mode where I'm just like I have a pen and I'm just gripping this pen.
Get ready to John Wick that motherfucker.
I'm just going like motherfucker, like do something right now, do something. I'll go to jail. I don't care, you know. So I'm like, first of all, don't touch me again. And it's like, second of all, I'm one of the coaches, and I'm gonna coach my team. I'm gonna be standing.
So you gave him a matter of fact, okay.
Yeah, and then like I said, everything else is a blur, but I ended up with, can I go back to coaching my team now? And I think
he all just like asshole-ish like that.
Like, which was, can I go back to coaching my team? But what it really sounded was like, sit the fuck down before like I get violent.
Yeah.
And he just goes, you may. So anyways, at this point, like, whoever's going to be on the bench is, like, sitting down, right? Because, I mean, we have that common sense of, like, yeah, we're not going to be standing and blocking people's view. But all my kids are just looking at me like, Coach, like, what the fuck is wrong with that guy? Like, he's
like,
so,
I don't know.
That was so rude. And I'm like, and the guy's, like, sitting right next to him, right? Like, right behind him. And I'm like, it's okay. It's okay, guys. Like, just focus on the game. Let it settle.
This is my problem.
I'll handle it. Like, don't worry about it. Just sit down, focus on the game. All right. And then like one of my kids, like the biggest kid that I have, like, it's like, sorry, my kid's crying, and he's like, "Yo, coach, if you want." I'm like, "No, Josh, it's okay." He's like, "No, I'm just saying." Today. He's like, "I'm just saying, coach. I got your back." like legit. He was like, "I got your back," and I'm like, "No." So, anyways, we win the match, and then we go outside, and we're having lunch or whatever, and the guy comes back. And
of course, he does.
And he apologizes, right? And he's like, like I didn't realize that you were coaching in the middle court. I thought you guys have it like just finished playing, and you were just standing there. Like blocking our view, and I'm like, sure, of course. So I oh my god, I'll be back. Hold on.
All right, pause.
Kid. Okay, we're back.
All right. So the guy apologizes.
So the guy apologizes.
Steals your hate.
And and I apologize as well because
dude,
well, because that's the right thing to do. I'm
it?
Like, well, I'm a coach. I'm representing a school. I'm wearing like the shirt school. I'm at the school that I work with, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I probably should have taken a different approach, right? I probably should have explained it a little bit better. Although, like I said, he did touch me, right? he did grab me.
You don't touch another man.
You don't touch another man. Like, so I may or may have not used hypnotic language patterns saying about how this type of thing makes you feel impotent. And I might have anchored him when I was shaking his hand. But,
Well, okay, after a conversation like that, how do you shake hands? Do you do the little extra firm with the handshake, or do you give them like that I'm sorry, we're cool handshake? Still a little firm, but not quite as forceful.
It depends on how and what I want to anchor, right? So I teach my kids to. I actually teach them to anchor people when they win a match.
Yeah.
So because you're in an emotional state, right?
Yeah.
And human beings respond really, really well to touch.
Yeah.
So think about it this way, like anytime somebody comes in and like puts their hand on their shoulder, you automatically go down, right?
Yeah.
Your defenses go down. And if you're having a rough time, most likely you're going to break into tears.
Yeah.
Right? That's an anchor that's been installed in, I think, everybody, because from babies, like the first thing they do is they rub your back and they put their hands on their shoulder, like, oh, it's okay, honey, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's an anchor that's being reinforced. So when you put a new anchor, as long as that state is as long as you're in that state, and then you do and you touch them in a certain way that's different from like a regular handshake. So you can either go light, like you can give them the dead fish, and you can anchor them, or you can go firm, like a normal handshake, and then start shaking it in such a way that you just keep talking about the state that you want to reinforce.
Yeah.
So in my case, I shook his hand, and I'm like, it's like, that's okay. I apologize, and I'm shaking his hand while I'm saying all this, right? Like while I'm using all like these like language patterns that I'm talking about, like how it's like it makes you feel a little bit impotent to be like this, and and you can know that an anchor works because their pupils will dilate.
Yep.
And
they'll try to get away.
Right, and they'll like start nodding and stuff. That's when you know they took the suggestion in.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's just I may or may have not used it.
You hypnotize somebody into your bitch.
Not necessarily. I'm just saying, like,
Oh, don't be
next
coy.
Time, I'm just saying, like, if he sees me next year and I shake his hand, like acting all buddy, that anchor's gonna be triggered.
Yeah.
So. Just saying. I didn't have to use I didn't have to use violence, right? And like I said, but I was like gripping the shit out of that pen, like I was ready to stab somebody.
Well,
and
have you ever seen? Go ahead.
I didn't realize how loud that conversation was going because some of the Westview parents, like after he came in, he's like, "Did he come in and apologize?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah." And these guys were in the far court. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, we just heard, like, don't touch me. And I'm like, oh, to me, it sounded like we were just having, I'm like, I guess like we were actually going at it. So.
Yeah, you never know. Like in those situations, it always ends up later on that you find out that something else was going on.
Right.
Or that it wasn't going exactly how you thought it was going.
Yeah. But then afterwards, dude, like this is, like, seriously, I don't think I'm going to do the Scripps Ranch tournament next year. Like, afterwards, we traveled to Scripps Ranch. We're not losing anything. Like, they didn't give us any time to warm up before our first match there. So I told my kids, like, hey, go ahead and grab a cord because it's free right now. There's no games going on. And just work on serving so that, we're going to be on in like 10 minutes. And one of my kids served, and the ball bounced, and it hit one of our moms in the hand, and she had a water, so she like dripped it. No big deal, right? It comes with the territory. You're playing volleyball. That's gonna happen.
I guess
it happens more often than not. And the Scripps Ranch, one of the coaches and a lady that was doing concessions. I don't know if she's like a teacher there or something, but they just decided to grab my kids and started like, having like this little talk with them. You guys are allowed 5 minutes to warm up. You shouldn't be doing this, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I look up and all of a sudden they're in like group and I'm like, what the fuck? It's not like they don't know me.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't know that I'm the coach. If you have an issue with something that my kids are doing, you talk to me. You don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Just because you're an adult doesn't give you the right to call on my entire fucking team and, lecture them.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
like,
also
no.
It could also be a very confusing moment, especially when there's someone who's not their coach. In those type of moments, I mean, that could really screw with the team.
It's really disrespectful. And I told him, like, I went in and I'm like, whoa, like, hey, next time you have something, it's like, just talk to me. I'll handle this right now. But don't assume that just because you're an adult, you can just grab my team like that. Like, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Like, talk to me first. Like, they're acting on stuff that I told them to do. So I just grabbed them like, hey, guys, just put the ball somewhere and don't listen to this shit.
Yeah.
But the good thing was, at the end when we won, like, they had to come in and give us the plaque. And they're just going like, oh, you guys did an excellent job. Yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like,
oh, please.
I'm just going like, keep going. Keep stroking my ego because I know it's killing you to say all this shit right now because you don't like us right now. Just keep going.
It's like
What
that
else?
moment in, what was it, Iron Man 3? When that senator or whatever has to give Rhodey and Tony those medals. You don't remember this?
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, okay. But he hates them, right? Like, he hates Tony and Rhodey. But he had to give them these medals at the end of the movie. It's like, ugh. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like, but like I said, I haven't had this issue before, like in my.
What the hell was that?
Oh, it's my kid's tablet.
Oh, which reminds me, dude. Okay, Christelle and I got a brand new washer and dryer, right?
Yeah.
And these things are one of those newer Samsungs. So they actually connect to your Wi-Fi.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and it tells you when the cycle is done or when it's done drying. That you can also control what it's actually doing from your phone. And I told Christelle, I'm like, yeah, next we can go get ourselves a nice Samsung refrigerator so that way they can talk to each other and plot our inevitable demise. There's fucking Skynet shit going on in my house right now. But no, I mean, they're nice. The washer is huge. Like, I don't know what the size of it is, like, the technical, like measurements or whatever, but we can put about we can put like 4 of our old loads into this thing.
You just triggered that memory from the Boondock Saints.
Which one?
Where he's like, this big fucking guy comes in.
Oh, I just gave you a little moment.
It's just like this huge. It's just huge. I don't know how much it is, but it's huge.
Yeah.
This big fucking guy.
Yeah. Oh yes, I remember him.
Dude,
He's a big fucking guy.
I'm not gonna lie though. It's fucking creepy as fuck that a washer and dryer could be hooked.
Yeah, it's a little odd.
Connect to your phone.
It's a little odd. I mean, I get the notification on my phone even when I'm at work. That my washer or dryer. This is why, like, if Christelle tells me she's doing laundry, I can be like, "No, you're not." I mean, like I can look at it right now. You're not.
I'm gonna call BS on that one.
Like, you're not home, are you? No, but we got that, and it's nice. We had to get rid of the other one because we had an old washer and dryer, and the agitator just like one day decided to take a shit. And then like you would hear like this really loud banging when you were trying to wash clothes, and nobody could sleep with that, So like Christelle would put a bunch of clothes in there, and then we go upstairs, and then you hear bah bah bah. I'm like, oh yeah, that's not gonna work. So we got a new washer and dryer.
Just try putting a sponge on top of it, like cushion, so it would cushion the hit.
Yeah, I don't know what it was because I tried to, like, how you it has a little thing where if you depress it, then it'll start the cycle back up. But if you open the washer, everything stops. Well, I tried to open it just a little bit because it's on the inside. Like, you can't actually just hold it and then open up the lid and it'll still go. Like, you actually have to leave it closed. So I open it up and the agitator's barely moving. So I'm like, yeah, it might be a time to go get a new washer and dryer. So
That's funny, dude. I still have one of those washer and dryers.
Do you remember doing like community washer dryer at the dorms? I mean, how often did you use that?
I mean, once a week, I think. Right?
Yeah, just
they
about.
didn't have a choice. But dude, it's
that sucked.
Fucking nasty.
Yes, they were, dude. Do you remember me having Lysol?
Yeah.
Dude, because it was just so nasty. I remember getting a load of clothes out of a dryer once, and it was my clothes, and I don't remember there being anybody else's clothes in this thing when I threw it in there, and then I pull out all of my clothes, and there's a set of panties in there. I'm like, oh, see, I mean, come on. Like, did someone throw it in there, or was it hiding?
I think you're into that shit.
No. But no, it's gross.
It's okay. Hey, dude, you're talking to me right now. Okay, you can be straight with me.
That was like that story that I told you about all the girls at the Medina Annex getting crabs.
You did dress as a woman for Halloween. Just saying.
That's not the only time I've dressed as a woman. I actually played Francis Flute in A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I played Francis Flute, who plays a woman in a play in A Midsummer Night's Dream. And I had to wear the mop and everything. And I am not a good-looking woman. Let's just put it that way. My frame is way too large.
Hey,
it looks like Janet Reno.
Some guys like him that way, though.
Burly. Like Brienne of Tarth. Oh, it's just terrible.
That's funny. But, yeah, I mean, I never had any surprises like that.
Thank God.
But I did have people, like, grabbing my clothes and putting it, like, out.
Yeah, that shit pissed me off.
I'm just like,
even if it's dry.
Why would you grab my shit? Like, no.
Well, and I always made sure that I was there on time, right? Like, I always looked at the clock, because they had a clock in the laundry room, and I'm like, okay, I got to be back here in, like, 45 minutes when the washer's done. And then I'd leave, like, 5 minutes before, and I'd just sit there and wait. But when I get back, like, my clothes are taken out. It's like, okay, I know it wasn't done. These motherfuckers just looked at it and saw, like, 10 minutes left on the spin cycle and called it good. Like, come on, man.
You know what I used to do? Like, because it's not like I'm not going to remember which dryer I was using. And if the cycle was still going, I would just stop it.
Yeah.
And be like, take that, asshole, don't touch my fucking shit again.
Yeah. Find out that it's not actually the same person. Like, aw.
I don't care. At that point, I didn't care. I was just like, you grab my shit, dude. Like,
it always bothered me that I was using the same washer as Ken McLeod.
It's like I have my underwear there, It's like, I don't know if you, like, all of a sudden, like, decided to rub my underwear, like, on your balls and shit. So
yeah, the whole community thing didn't really.
No, it didn't work for me.
Now, I didn't mind the shared bathroom and kitchen. That wasn't so bad.
Dude.
But there was some people.
Did.
Well, I had a good. We called them piss mates.
Because you share the bathroom. But no, like mine sucked ass. He would always, like, lock me out. Like, when I really had to take a piss. That's why I was always using your bathroom or Alvin's.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say my couch.
No, the restroom. Like, I would be like, can I take a piss, please? Like, yeah.
I think we were probably some of the only two people
fan.
that ever lived in those dorms that actually did full meals in those kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we made meals.
Yeah, like actual food.
Yeah. I mean, I was pretty. What are you drinking? Is that Pib?
It's Dr. Pepper.
Oh, dude, I want one so bad. Killing me here.
I have one in my fridge. If you want one.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll wait. No, have you seen anything new on Netflix lately?
No. So no new shows. Actually, no. You know what? I did see the first episode of Real Rob. That was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah,
That was
it
pretty
gets
funny.
better.
I thought it was pretty hilarious.
But
And
I
how
guess
he,
that's actually his best friend, Jamie. It's actually his best friend. I don't know if he actually works for him as his assistant, but
oh, I like the stalker.
yeah.
Like he's like, it turns out that stalkers are like natural assistants. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this is so wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. You got to wait for the episode where Rob convinces Jamie to get a vasectomy, just so he can see what it's like before he gets one. It's so mean. It's so mean. No, I did start watching that show Troy. You know, all about the fall of Troy and in the Odyssey and the Iliad and all that stuff. Well, I guess it's just the Odyssey, right? Yeah. Anyway, okay. Let me ask you a question. When you think of Helen of Troy, what do you think?
What do you mean? Like,
Okay, when you think of, like, you know who Helen of Troy is in that story.
yeah, but I'm gonna go Mark Zuckerberg on this one. Like, Senator, I honestly don't know what that means.
Okay, so Helen of Troy was supposedly the most beautiful woman in the world, according to the story, right?
Right.
And Paris was promised by the gods that he would be given the most beautiful woman in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of Helen of Troy, the woman whose face launched 1,000 ships, the most beautiful woman in the world, I'm expecting that when I watch the show that they picked an actress that's
gonna be like
at
easy
least,
on the eye.
yeah, at least halfway decent, right? Okay, this bitch is horrid. Okay,
That is so mean.
I'm not trying to be mean. She's a good actress. She really is. But this is not the type of person I imagine when I think of Helen of Troy. Like, she is ugly.
Well, maybe that's maybe that was the point, right?
God. What, that they, instead of giving Paris the most beautiful woman in the world, they blind him?
No, that, maybe to Paris that was the most beautiful woman in the world.
Maybe, but I mean,
But well, think about it, right? Like if and granted, I haven't seen this Troy season or whatever, but if maybe they're trying to go away from like the stereotypical thing and give you something a little bit more realistic.
Yeah.
Like if you see it from a third person perspective, you're gonna be like, you know what? She's not that hot, dude. It's not worth going to war because of that bitch. Like,
well,
but Paris is like, oh, dude, but she fucking sucks the dick like
Well,
like nobody's business.
They did it really well. You saw the movie Troy with
Yeah,
Brad Pitt and everything. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't great, but it certainly wasn't that bad for like the action and stuff that they had, and it was okay. But I certainly wouldn't watch it, just for the hell of it.
I would.
But I would watch it just because of the fight scene between Hector and Achilles, because that shit was awesome. But anyway, so they have the show starts out with Paris, who, I mean, they pretty much go with the Odyssey and everything, where Paris was found, like, he got taken by wolves when he was a baby, and then a shepherd basically took care of him, didn't know who he was, and then they find out, and then, well, Priam, the king, finds him. And so they go with the whole story that he finally gets brought back into the palace, and he doesn't know any of this stuff. Like, he's always been a shepherd. So anyway,
Right.
So he's out in the woods before he becomes a prince again, and there's Zeus, who's a black guy, which, that's cool. I thought that was kind of a good difference this time. They used a really good actor. I don't know his name to play Zeus, but he looks like a homeless guy, basically, like all dressed in sackcloth and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool approach to go with Zeus, right? You go with a black guy. And anyway, so then they have 3 goddesses. They have Hera. I don't remember the other one. And then there was Aphrodite. And they all say, choose me to win, the golden apple, and I'll give you such and such. And of course, Aphrodite promises him the most beautiful woman in the world. Well, that was cool. And then you get to Achilles, And they don't really use Achilles as like the main hook of the story, which is awesome because, of course, in the book or in the story, in the Odyssey, Achilles is kind of like a side note, you know.
Right.
It's like they explain him and everything, you know, who he is and that he was probably, you know, Zeus's son. Well, the guy that they use for Achilles is black. I was like, yes, finally, like we're doing something right? Like you have, you know, black Zeus, black Achilles. Awesome. Okay. So I just thought some of that was cool, but the rest of it, you know, I just got pissed off that Helen was dog ugly, and I kind of lost interest because I felt like, you know, why the fuck are we going to war for this? You know, this is
well, no, but maybe that was the point. Maybe that was the point they're trying to go. It's like, yeah, you know what? I don't think she's like that hot to go to war to. Like,
and I totally forgot that that Helen's daughter, Helen and Menelaus, their daughter is named Hermione, and that's
Hermione,
yeah, I totally forgot about that, and I was like, oh yeah, that's where the, you know, Harry Potter name came from, you know. So anyway, but yeah, there was that, and then I watched Annihilation with Natalie Portman.
Natalie.
That was a weird fucking movie, dude.
I haven't seen it. I heard mixed things about it, though.
Okay, well, I won't tell you what I found out about it until you watch it.
Okay.
And what it's actually about.
But it's good?
I mean, it's...
See, I told you mixed things about it. Some people really, really liked it. Some people were just like, yeah, it's alright.
It really depends on how you look at it. From certain standpoints, I would say it's a really good movie. But like if you're just watching it just to get entertainment, it sucks. Like if you're just watching it to watch a movie, it blows.
Who's the director of that movie?
I don't remember. Here, we can look it up, but I mean, visually, it was great. A very, very beautiful movie. See, I mean, even Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb can't agree on this movie. But let me see.
I told you, mixed things.
Directed by Alex Garland. There you go.
I don't know who that is.
I'm pretty sure I know who this is. There was gosh, I'm trying to. Well, I guess I could just look at the IMDb database here. Let me see. Alex Garland. Let's see. He did. Oh, of course. Yeah, that's right. Ex Machina. Did Ex Machina and 28 Days Later.
I love 28 Days Later, though.
So, I mean, like, visually, when you know that he's the director, you know that you're going to get a very visually beautiful movie. Mm-hmm. And then, even for, like, Ex Machina, like, the plot, there wasn't much of it. Like, there's, like, two things, you know, it's, you know, machines don't really need us. And how do we feel about that? And that was it. And then, I mean, the rest of it is just kind of like how making you decide what you feel about it, right?
Yeah. You know, speaking of like machines and stuff, have you seen Black Mirror at all? Like any episodes of Black Mirror?
I've had tons of people ask me to watch it.
There was this one that I saw that it kind of connects previous episodes where they have like this device, right, that you put in your head, and then you just go to like cyberspace. You go to like this kind of like this MMO type game.
Yeah.
But it's with real people. So like the technology of this one is that I can get your DNA and I can create a clone of you in cyberspace.
Okay.
Right? So I can like grab your saliva, right?
Yeah.
And you will have up to today's or up to that point of where I grab your saliva's memories.
Oh shit.
And I can put you into this game. And when you wake up, you're like, what the fuck am I doing here? Right? So your consciousness is transferred into this cyberspace.
But it's not really you.
But it's not really you. But you have the sense of like, no, I'm me. Like,
Oh, that is
But
so messed up.
but you're in the real world, like, so I think like Ex Machina or Machina, it was kind of like that. It's whether or not machines can develop consciousness as we know it as human beings.
Yeah.
And yeah, like one of the points that, like, or one of the things that happens in this episode where you have like all of the ones that all of the people that are now video games essentially, or characters from a video game. They want to live.
That is so fucked up on so many different levels.
It is just like, we want something more than just being here in this fucking game, being tortured by, the creator, because the creator has the control. He can, force you to do anything.
Just so
like,
messed up.
Like, so like the guy, like his best friend, they run this company called Infinity, and that's the program, right?
Yeah.
So I guess he's been having issues with his best friend, so he grabs like his DNA, right, and creates a character. And the way he forces him to like do his role play, because he does like kind of like a Star Trek kind of a game, is that he grabs the DNA from his son, brings his son in to like the spaceship, and then throws him out into fucking outer space and kills him. And his programming skills are so good that he made like all the details like really, really well. So he's like saying like, yeah, he threw my son out. And it's like, you know what happens to a body when you throw them in outer space? Like, they freeze and then they just fucking collapse, like just explode like a porcelain doll. And he's like, I gotta give it to him. He's a fucking asshole, but the fucking details that he put into this into this thing, they're just amazing. And that's how he gets him to like role play his like little video game. But like I said, they have consciousness.
That's
up to the point of them. I don't know that one. So this machine or this tablet is taking my voices, and I'm trying to give him commands. So I'm gonna shut it off. So,
dude, that's messed up.
Isn't it so fucked up? Though?
So he's not actually torturing his friend. He's just torturing basically the clone.
Yeah, the cyber clone.
But he's getting satisfaction out of it because it's basically his friend.
Yes. So it has his friend's memories up to the point of like today when I got that DNA.
Can you think of how awful that would be for humans to have control over, is something like that? So say like, you have some sick kid that gets rejected by a girl in school.
Yeah, he can just grab that girl's DNA and just torture her for the end of time. Yeah. Or well, at least like from our point of view, it's like you're just torturing a character, kind of like
no, man, you're like torturing a brain, basically.
Yeah, like Sims, right? Like if you just grab the character and let it commit suicide or whatever.
What's the morality of that? It's like, is it okay or is it fucked up? I think it's fucked up, but
like I said, in this episode, they argue that like whether or not when you transfer, if you have that technology and you're able to transfer somebody to cyberspace, if that consciousness is considered to be human.
Well, that could be the same thing as the like with the time travel thing, like the parallel universe that's created every time you either change something or you travel in time. Like there's actually two of you now.
Yeah. There's
one in the universe that you left, and there's a new one that has a background, but it's a parallel universe now. But they're still the same. It's just different scenarios. That's all it is. It's like it's still conscious, right? So that's what scares the shit out of me about machines being conscious, because I don't think that they would gain consciousness the same way that humans necessarily have consciousness. Honestly, because I don't think they can. I think they just do it differently.
Right.
So the instinct level, like where do you start out as a human, like as a baby, as instinct? Like your one of your first basic instincts is to be able to suck so that you can get milk, and or to cry when you're feeling uncomfortable or you're in pain, and that's basically it. And so what's a machine's instinct? Survive?
I don't know. I mean, wouldn't it depend on the programming?
It would. And that's the most messed up thing, is because you're asking imperfect beings to create a perfect entity.
Yeah.
It's like it just doesn't work. So any imperfections that the programmer has will inevitably be in the program.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, man. It's so messed up. This is why time travel, machines, all that shit scares the hell out of me. It's because we're doing it.
Yeah. This is fucking total nerd out, but
it is. But is it really that far away?
Dude, I honestly don't know, but I don't think so.
God, I don't know, man. Well, they've been talking about inserting our consciousness into, computers for like 30 years now?
Yeah.
Can't be that far away.
No.
DARPA, they already have it.
DARPA, I know.
It's like all of our cell phones and shit, that's like 50 years old, But
all that coughing is my baby, by the way. He's been sick.
Oh, the poor boy.
I do apologize for it, but I can't do anything.
Yeah, because you don't have a studio yet.
I don't have a studio yet.
I think you just need to put your foot down. Okay, speaking of putting your foot down. So you watched that tennis video.
I did.
Okay, I want you to explain to me what was happening in that tennis video.
So, Lonnie just sent me the most fucked up tennis video. Or tennis video that I've seen in a long time. So it's doubles, right? It's male, female.
Yep.
I don't know if it's like clip of tournaments or something, but it's just the men serving against the women.
Yeah.
And these guys are not holding anything back. They're like doing their like 98 miles per hour fucking serves on these poor female athletes.
Now who is one of them? Who's one of the females?
Serena Williams is one of them.
Okay.
And they cannot return a single fucking serve. So all like the guys are just winning the points by serving hard at the women. And on one of the interviews, I can't remember what the guy is like. Yeah, I really like so and so, but I wasn't gonna hold back. Like they really, I mean, they're mostly high ego personalities, right?
Yeah,
tennis players, so they want to win.
Well, I mean, tennis is probably one of those more competitive sports.
But who the fuck thought it was a good idea to do doubles and have the males serve against the females?
See, now this is what the idea that I wanted you to get to. Why do you think it's a bad thing?
Because it's a whole different level of athleticism.
Exactly.
I mean, I know that. I mean, this can be put in the bell curve, right? And you can find me exceptions.
Yeah.
You can find me. You're gonna find me a female that's gonna be able to return the serves of a male, but
can she play?
Very, very unlikely.
Now that's the whole thing. It's like, can she do the one thing, like return the serve and play?
Yeah, like I said, you can always find exceptions. You're gonna find that one, but on these videos, you can't. There wasn't a single one.
And that's Serena fucking Williams, man. And you hear her, like, some of the serves are coming, like, right at her. He's doing body serves. And she's, like, screaming, like, trying to get the fucking ball to go away.
Yeah, it would be like if an amateur tennis player goes against me. I'm a fucking noob. I don't know anything about tennis. And he just starts serving hard. I'm going to be like,
yeah.
I won't be able to. Or trying to hit a fastball.
Yeah. It's like, I'm probably more likely to cower.
I can't hit a fastball.
No.
Like, I went to the batting cage this one. It's like, my limit was 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
40 miles, I can, like, pop that ball. Like, you went to 50, just 10 more. I couldn't see the ball. I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, pop. And I'm like...
That's what I mean. Like, can you imagine standing at the plate and having, a professional... Like Lincecum. I think he used to play for the Giants. Had that really weird pitch. I mean, the guy... You have that guy throwing, like, 95 miles an hour at your head. Like, what do you do? Would you even see it to be able to get out of the way?
Probably not.
Or do you just get clocked? Or does he just push you off the plate with these, or that's what I mean. It's like, if you can't see it coming, This is the whole thing. It's like this is the argument that I've been having with, and I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm really not. But I've been having this argument with some women where it's, when it comes to competitive sports like this, I'm sorry, you are not going to, unless we genetically enhance women, you are not going to find a woman that can compete at that level at most competitive sports. Just because it's different. Women have their strengths, men have theirs, and
well, no, but it's safe to say that in general, men are more athletic than women.
yes.
Right?
Now,
Because,
does that mean that I can beat Serena Williams at tennis? No, absolutely not. But it's just when you have anything like any type of competitiveness in sports. When it comes to men and women, just like sprinting, a woman will never beat the male sprinters. Ever.
Yeah.
It just won't happen. But why does that have to? This is why I said earlier in my post that we're going to conquer feminism. I'm just joking. All I'm saying is that you're not going to get there. And we're not going to get to certain levels that you guys get at with things, right?
Right.
This is my biggest argument against having these, say a transgender man fighting women in the octagon.
No, I honestly do not. There's no hormone treatment that you can possibly tell me that you went through that will make you like a female.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna have that advantage. It's not like.
And there's gonna be a ton of people that call us sexist for this shit. But what
was? Oh man, what was that athlete, that tennis player that had a sex change?
Oh, I decided to play
women. Renee.
And it was a man.
Yeah, Renee's. What's his fucking name?
I'm sure you could find it, but it's.
I'm gonna Google him right now, or her, I guess. Him, her.
And this isn't me just bringing stuff up just because I feel like being an asshole. This is me bringing stuff up because I'm frustrated. Because it's okay. When it comes to pain level, men will never experience childbirth, right? We have all the little things like those little patches that you can put on a man's abdominals or abdominal muscles and everything to make him feel like some kind of pressure, right? But there's no way a man's ever going to feel the pain of childbirth. There's no way a man is going to be able to feel the type of nurturing comfort that a woman can give to her children, or have the what they call a mother's insight or a mother's intuition.
Right.
Men have the dad reflex, right? Where you can catch a child falling off of a couch. We don't have the intuition thing. We don't have a bunch of this stuff that we just can't compete with.
It's Renee Richards.
Renee Richards. Trans woman.
Yeah. She was born in 1934. Tennis player, and then went from male to female. So he or she was.
I'm still saying he.
I like to say he too, but
I know.
Anyways.
I know it's insensitive, but
whatever. So it's a really, really good tennis player, right? And all of a sudden he's like, then there's a documentary, you can find it on YouTube, I think. And you can, so you can see him play, he's really, really ruthless. So he was tough serves and then just going to the front of the court, and that's where he would score points, right?
Oh, okay. So do you like the soft return on when he goes up forward?
Right.
Okay, yeah.
And he was really, really, really good. He has two whatchamacallit. So when he transitioned, right, and decided he's okay, I'm gonna be a woman. He had a sex change, the actual. He actually did the snippy. Yep. And started playing tennis as a woman, but he did not dominate. So you would think he was going to dominate, right?
Yeah.
Because he says, but he didn't. Because, and the only reason why he didn't is because as a man, he played a certain way. As a woman, he played it at a different way.
That is the kind of answer I'm looking for.
That was not as aggressive as,
So he changed the style up.
Right.
Or he had to.
No. He didn't have to. He changed it because he felt that as a woman, he should be playing like that. Like a woman plays like this.
Oh my
right?
God.
So
you're saying that if he did play the way he used to against men, there would have been a completely different outcome.
Yes, and that's what happened. So she started losing, not winning, right? The coach went and said, like, you know what? We're gonna get you aggressive. We're gonna get you like do your like serves and stuff. Starts playing as a man, as she used to play as a man. Started dominating, right?
Yeah.
She became really unhappy. Really, really unhappy. And finally the coach just went, you know what? It seems to me that as a woman, you want to play like a woman, then you should probably play like a woman.
So
didn't dominate after that.
Just lose to be happy.
So it for the coach, it was more about, her mental health rather than winning titles.
Dude, that's so messed up.
But I don't know if like, we'll use the example. I don't know if Conor McGregor decides to be a woman tomorrow. If Conor McGregor is going to be like, a woman should fight like this. And therefore he would like hold back and not fight like he used to as a man. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's one example, but all I'm saying is when Renee Richards decided to play as a man, dude, it was like he was leaving like women at like 0 points.
Well, I did post...
And her story like became like this whole big thing because of the Olympics.
Yeah.
Right? That's when they started throwing the whole like
what are we going to do here?
How do you define a woman? And it's like, oh, it's the XY chromosome, the XX chromosome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dude. And it's one of the most confusing things to me. It's why it has to be such a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, just the differences. Like, physiologically, the things that you cannot change. Even if you go through hormone treatment, right?
Yeah.
Like, you cannot change bone structure. You can't change muscle tension and structure. You just can't. And maybe one day. But right now, no. And the question that I have posed to people, and I really ask them to think about it and not just be a jackass about it and answer right away, because I know what their answer is going to be just because they want to be an asshole. Conor McGregor, if he were to fight someone in the ring or in the octagon in an MMA fight, would Ronda Rousey or Floyd Mayweather have a better shot at beating Conor McGregor?
Floyd.
Why?
Like, we just stated this.
And
right?
This is what I mean, because I hear it was the first, like, people will automatically say Ronda Rousey. Just because, like, they either want to be an asshole about McGregor and him beating Conor in a boxing ring, right? Because they want to see Conor beat Mayweather in the octagon, just to have, like, just to have the semblance of fairness, right? It's like, whatever. That's not how it works, but okay. Or they want to say that Ronda Rousey has training in MMA and Floyd Mayweather doesn't. Honestly, I think Floyd Mayweather could still beat up Ronda Rousey in the octagon.
Yeah.
And it has absolutely zero to do with their experience in their fields.
Mm-hmm. It's just, well, let's just say you go gender neutral, right?
Yeah.
And you just go based on skills.
There would be no women in the MMA.
Let's say you're ranking every women and men fairly.
Yeah.
A Ronda Rousey fighter, gender neutral, or you can turn Ronda Rousey into a man, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Well, it's in the hierarchy of like who's the most skilled MMA fighter. Ronda Rousey doesn't score in the top 10.
Okay, then who's the top female? We can play that game too. Like, who's
Well,
the top
like
female right now?
Like I'm saying, that's what I'm saying though. The top female, if you go gender neutral and rank him as far as skill, she's not going to be in the top 10.
Yeah, and this is all I'm saying. And this doesn't mean that I don't think that there should be women that have the same sport.
Yeah, and like I said, Lonnie, with everything you can always find exceptions, right?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that somewhere around the world there's a very skillful woman that can beat the shit out of Conor McGregor. She's not in the MMA though.
yeah. So we wouldn't know.
That's all I'm saying.
So we wouldn't know.
Yes, yeah. No.
And this is all I'm saying is I brought it up because of the frustration. Because because all I'm trying to use is common sense. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just trying to use common sense. I'm trying to use physiology and science. I'm not trying to mansplain anything. I'm just saying that with competitive sports, especially combat sports, the difference is huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a reason why we have never seen a woman in football or rugby playing with men. I mean, they've already tried this. We've had there was the quarterback. It's a woman. She tried to get invited to the combine, the NFL combine, and she could throw, yes, but that's not the concern. It's like we're not going to put you out on the field if you have the possibility of being sacked. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
you are 160 pounds, let's say. You're a burly girl, right? And you can throw the football really well. Great. How do you do under pressure with a 300-pound defensive end chasing after you that runs faster than you?
Yeah.
You know, and then they had the kicker. And it's like, well, kickers are more protected than quarterbacks. I agree. There's still a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And she can't. There was the big debate because she couldn't kick over a 45-yard field goal.
Well, I would say this, like, I mean, that's an easy measurement, right?
Yeah.
You take the heaviest woman that you have in the league.
Yeah.
Right. And take her and measure the force on how hard she can sack a quarterback. And then compare it to the toughest men that you have in the NFL league.
Oh, the difference is astronomical.
And measure the force, and there's your fucking answer.
Yeah.
The answer is no. You can't be a quarterback in a men's league.
Yeah. And this is why I've had Christelle talk to me about having men or women in the police force. Now, this is something I disagree with a little bit because I don't feel like a woman is as a police officer is always going to have those situations where she has to tackle somebody, but it does come up.
Mm-hmm. Where
you have to put somebody on the ground, cuff them, and then get them into the back of your squad car, right? It's like, okay, who's better equipped for that? And
the guy, yeah.
Yeah, and
I mean, it's to be honest, like it kind of surprises me that we have female police.
Yeah.
But we don't have female infantry. I mean, I guess we kind of do now.
We kind of do. You have MPs and you have security forces.
But it's just one of those things, like dude, you gotta be, like, on top of your fucking game as a female police officer.
Well, you have to as a man. I mean, just as a man, you have to be able to, as a police officer or even like a firefighter or an infantryman, you have to have full control over your body in moments like that, right? Mm-hmm. Like you have to utilize your own strength to put somebody down or to restrain someone or to be able to have the mental fortitude to use your firearm, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
mean, I didn't really think about that one, but yeah, I mean,
and that's not saying that women are going to cower. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just saying, are they willing to shoot somebody?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that women are fragile, right, or anything like that. But if you think about it, dude, like, Like I mean, we've all seen the show Cops, right?
Yeah.
Most of the ones that when you see like the guy getting like really really aggressive, it's like it takes like 5 fucking guys to just hold one dude.
Yeah.
And if you're by yourself and you're chasing somebody, as a woman, fuck, dude.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And how often?
I mean, it's crazy. Like
that would be an interesting stat to look up to see how many female cops call for backup. You know, like as opposed to the male cops.
Well, like I said, even the male cops call.
Yeah, even the males call for help.
I would fucking call for help. Like, I don't fucking know what this...
Well, I mean, it's the difference of, do you feel like you can handle the situation by yourself or not? If it's one dude.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And it's really difficult because you don't want to offend anybody that's like their dream. And like even like any female though, her dream is to be a cop. It's like
I would say grab that pull out that fucking 9mm and just go for the leg.
Kneecap a son of a bitch. No, it's a really difficult conversation to have, and like the firefighter is the one that always gets me, because that's not just like, I'm not asking you if you're brave or if you're willing to walk into a fire to save somebody. I have absolutely no doubt that women firefighters have that fortitude to do that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm asking you, can you lift the 250-pound dude out of there to get him to safety?
Yeah.
Can you knock down the door with the axe?
Right. I mean, and that goes for guys too, right? Because there's a lot of firefighters out there that...
There's a ton of those dudes that wash out.
If you look at the firefighters, like you'll see like a common trend as far as like body frame, height. Yeah.
Some big dudes are firefighters.
Yeah, but you don't see that same body type, frame, and a profile like, let's say, for Navy SEALs.
No.
Like usually, like if you see a Navy SEAL, if you met a Navy SEAL, you'll know that usually it's like the 5'9" guy. Yeah. They're not like super tall, right? They're usually like they're like guys like my height, but their fucking muscles are like ginormous.
Oh yeah, but they're tense too. Like those motherfuckers could lift a car.
They get big, but they're not. They're usually not like whatever you see in the movies. You know, they're not like these Brad Pitt looking motherfuckers or these like Vin Diesel looking guys where they're just like super tall and
no, those guys wash out because they can't breathe. You know?
Yeah, they're usually like the shorter guys that they're like sit in the corner. You when you see like everybody that's applying for those, it's always the guy that you think like you go like he's not gonna make it. He's not gonna. You know? Those are the guys that end up being SEALs. It's really weird, but
you know what I always used to tell people is that like for the Navy SEALs that I have met, like I've never really had like a fear of those guys because they're usually really nice guys, right? Really nice guys. The only ones that I'm actually afraid of are the tiny, skinny guys that are SEALs. Those guys scare the shit out of me because I'm sitting there looking at them going, "You passed SEAL school? Like, dude, you must be scary." You know?
Yeah. You look like you could just like push him and it's gonna like break. And like, they got some. They got like some fucking ninja skills. Like,
yeah. Well, it's like the Marines, like you see a lot of skinny dudes going to the Marines, but they're still tough dudes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's interesting. The whole female-male thing is frustrating to me because, it's usually like it seems like it should be a common sense thing, but it's not. And people get offended and frustrated, and it's like, well, do you want us taking stuff from women and saying we're good at it? I mean, really? Because we're not. I had some people that I was talking to on Slack, and I was asking them name some things that women typically do that men completely fail at, or that men do that women completely fail at. Let me see if I can find it here, but it was pretty funny. Some of them were a little less than polite, I would say. So one of them was being president. Women. Let me see. I'll get them here. And Devo, I'm talking to you because you came up with the best ones here, buddy. Loosening the pickle jar. Taking over half the world and planting your genetics into basically 60% of Asian people.
Oh,
Genghis Khan. Let me see. Okay. Going to the moon. That's messed up for one particular reason.
Yeah.
Because of the Columbia.
Yeah.
Or it the Challenger? Right. It was the Columbia, right?
Columbia,
yeah. Let me see. Peeing standing up. Not bleeding monthly. That's, I don't know. I was actually brought.
That last one pretty fucking hilarious.
It was brought to my attention that there was actually a female hockey goalie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Oh, speaking of hockey goalies, did you see that one with the that accountant?
The accountant.
What I can't remember the team of it. So my boss is a hockey ref, right?
Sure.
So he was explaining to me, like, so there's this big news going about this accountant that
what did he start playing hockey?
No. Well, so anyways, so this is the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
So the Blackhawks lost their main goalie, right? Due to an injury, and then they lost their second string, their backup goalie. So they always have like a backup to the backup.
Yeah, guy who's not really a goalie.
Right, and it happened to be this accountant, right? So they're like, yeah, get dressed. You're going in. And you can see, like, they have footage of him, like, going to the coach, right? And the coach is just like he's just like making this face, like, kind of like, he didn't even look at the guy. He's just like, go get him, boy. Like, go get him, kid, or something like
like a fucking Rudy
Dude,
moment.
He played for, he had seven shots that he stopped.
Nice.
And they were able to, I think they won the game. Dude,
that guy's the fucking hero.
But here's the thing, like, so my like I said, my boss was explaining, like, they don't get paid, right?
Yeah.
For that one. But they get to keep the jersey. And he gets to, and if you go to the NHL webpage,
he's got stats.
He got his stats at 100%.
That's fucking awesome. Like, yes, that's me.
Let me see. Okay, here it goes. His name is Scott Foster.
Let me see. I'm looking this up. Does he look like a hockey player?
No, he definitely doesn't look like a hockey player.
What the fuck?
Blackhawks used an accountant as a goalie, and he stopped seven shots. And I think they won the game.
Not the hockey, or not the actor here, people. Not the pretty boy. Looking at the hockey player. This guy.
Dude, it's fucking crazy.
Let me see.
Yeah, they won the game.
Look at him.
Blackhawks.
Look at the look on his face in the locker room. He's just like, what? I don't know what to do with my hands. He's got the fucking Ricky Bobby look.
Dude, such a fucking cool story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like as my boss was saying, like, yeah, I got to have footage, and the coach just doesn't even like make eye contact. It's just like, go get him, kid.
See, I'm looking at some of this. There's a video up here. Oh my god, this guy does not look like a professional athlete in the slightest.
Because he's not. He's like the emergency goalie. He's like the backup of the backup.
Oh, that's funny. Well, that's like in football. You know, like, I know I always go to football when we talk about sports, but I think it's hilarious. For the Patriots, right? We have Tom Brady, obviously, as the starting quarterback. And right now we have Brian Hoyer as the backup. Do you know who the backup to the backup is?
Mm-mm.
Julian Edelman. The guy hasn't played quarterback since college, but he's a wide receiver. And I think he's like 5'9". You know, he's one of the best slot receivers in the NFL, right? But he had that one throw in the AFC Championship game, like 2014 against the Ravens, when Tom Brady throws to him, and then Edelman throws to Amendola. But it looks like Edelman's going to run, right? Like, so all the defenders are running at Edelman, and then they notice him winding back with the arm. And they're like, "Oh shit," you know. And then there goes Amendola. He's already running the post like way downfield. They're like, "Oh no!" And that's what they got to tie the game, and then they eventually win it. But it's just hilarious that there's these little moments, like there's these guys that's like, "Oh yeah, you know, I used to do that, you know, when I was in junior high or something." You know, and that's what guys like this are.
Yeah.
That was like our backup punter, our backup kicker for a long time was Vince Wilfork. Do you know who Vince Wilfork is? Okay.
No.
Now, I won't say that he was like a sure thing, because you had Gostkowski, who's our kicker, who kicks the field goals and everything. The real backup to him would be Ryan Allen, who's our punter. And he takes very limited snaps in practice to try to make field goals, right? Like his whole job is punter, but he has to know how to make a field goal.
Right.
But the backup to the backup was Vince Wilfork. Now, if you look up Vince Wilfork is like 350 pounds. Jesus. He was our defensive tackle. Just big dude. I used to call him the World Eater, you know?
Galactus.
Yeah, but it was just funny. But if you watch, like, he went to the Texans for like his last 2 or 3. I think it was just 2 years. He goes to the Houston Texans, and they had the Hard Knocks show on him, or on the Texans, and they had a soccer player come to visit and challenge them to like a field goal contest, right? So she kicks a football. She's a soccer player, but she kicks a field goal from like 45 yards. And everybody gets all happy and excited, you know, like, you know, a soccer player hits, like, but really big deal, right? It's a soccer player. Well, Coach Bill O'Brien, he used to be with the Patriots, and he says, all right, that was nice. He goes, "Vince." Vince comes out. He's like, "Your turn." So here comes waddling Vince, right? Like he walks up and he kicks that thing, and it goes right through the middle, and they all lose their minds, you know. But I just think it's funny that there's guys like this guy, Scott Foster. Dude, I need to put his picture up as like my profile picture. Just the look of absolute amazement and denial that this shit is happening.
It's just like, hey, yeah, you could have gone to play. And it's like, what? Just gear up.
36-year-old.
Dude.
Oh my gosh. He's 36?
Yeah,
when this
it's
happened?
crazy though.
Oh, this was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, this just happened. Like,
dude's older than me. That's great. So what's his number? Does he actually have a number? Oh, yeah, it is. It's 90.
Yeah.
Okay.
90, yeah. So,
it's the number they never use.
While we're, yeah, I know. While we're on the sports subject, so I got us a guest for the next podcast.
Yes, you did.
You ask and you shall receive, right, Lonnie?
I didn't think that you were actually going to be able to get somebody, let alone know someone. So, yeah. Who are you, Sumi?
A little background story. So Lonnie says like, "Hey, did you send me a text, right? Or
I sent you a message, and I think it basically said, "Get us an athlete."
Yeah, it's like I want to interview a professional athlete. Do you know anybody? I'm like, I know two. And so I asked, and it's funny, like the way I asked, I sent him an email.
Oh, the very professional
person that I know, right? And I'm like, hey, so this is not a like a work email. It's just more of a friendly request type thing.
So you work with this person?
It's sort of.
So you work kinda with him?
Kind of, yes. Like I process some of the deals that he does. So he's a salesperson, and I do the processing side. But like when he was like his first day of work, he's like going to training and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I met him, and I heard that he's a professional baseball player, and I'm like, oh, that's right up my alley. So I like talked to him like, hey, so I heard that you play professional sports. Like I study sports psychology.
Yeah.
So we kind of hit it off, right? So like, and so I sent him the email like, hey, this is not like a work email. This is more like a friendly request type thing, like an odd request. It's like I don't know if you know, but I have a podcast that I run with my friend. Like I'm not gonna lie, we do curse a lot.
That seems to be always my preemptive before I ask.
Right. And so I told him like, my friend really, really wants to interview a professional athlete. And so I told him like, we had a BDSM master, we had the former director of Playboy Golf, we had a conspiracy theorist, we've had a teacher.
The more you say, the more I think that we have like these awesome fucking guests, and we do.
I know, and I was like, but never a professional athlete. What say you? He's like, I'm down. It was just like. And he answered like, I'm not a very interesting person, but yeah, let's do it.
and tell the listeners what you told me, and this is something I totally agree with.
Every single person that I've asked to be on the podcast, they always come and say, I'm not a very interesting person.
Yep. And
they ended up being like the best ones.
That was like Doug. Doug's like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. They're like, nobody wants to listen to this stuff. I'm like, dude. If I'm asking you, people want to know.
Yeah, it's time traveling. I want to know about it. If it's conspiracy, I want to know about it. But so if I don't know, should we give him a heads up of this going to be, or should we just like?
Well, I really don't mind. Like anytime that he can do it, if it could be the next episode, like 2 weeks from now, then that's great.
Yeah, I already told him it's on the 28th, and he said, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, should we tell our audience right now that who are we getting?
Sure, why not? What could it hurt?
If you guys look up Charles Fick.
Do not search images on CJ Fick. I don't know if it's the same guy.
It is.
Chucky. CJ Fick?
Yeah.
Okay, so, wow. I'm actually kind of excited because I actually looked this up.
He played for the Cardinals, and he played for the Astros as a pitcher.
And had a few strikeouts, I saw.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dude can throw a ball.
So, but we'll leave that for the next podcast. We'll interview. But if you guys are interested, just look him up, and we'll have him. He's just one of the nicest guys that I've met, and he's really, really funny. So
I will say that I do actually know a celebrity, not like absolutely personally, but the guy knows my name, and you're gonna think I'm lying to you when I tell you.
Why would I think that?
Mr. T.
Mr. T?
Mr. T.
He knows your name?
Yes. He knows my name. Now, he actually came to our church a long time ago and did a little speech or whatever, and I actually got to talk with him a lot. And then later on, there was like a little thing going on down in Southern California. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was part of the concert. I was at some Maroon 5 concert because I was going with my sister, like as kind of like a chaperone. This was back like before Maroon 5 was, huge.
Right.
Actually, oh God, what's the band that sings? It's Bare Naked Ladies. No, Smash Mouth. Smash Mouth was opening for him, and he was there.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, Lonnie. I'm like, oh my God. How the hell do you remember me? Yeah, dude, I had like the weird giddy moment where I'm like,
you remember me?
Well, it was almost like that story. God, who was telling the story about how they met Mike Tyson on a plane? It was a comedian.
I don't know.
Talking about the story about how he met fucking Mike Tyson on an airplane ride. But it was like that moment. It's like, holy shit, like I'm not only am I seeing a celebrity and getting to talk to a celebrity, but he's actually interested in who I am. But No, yeah. So
That's fine.
I should
Well,
try to
yeah.
reach out to Mr. T and try to get him on. Be like, hey, what's up, Clubber Lang? You know.
Well, it's like I said, Lonnie. You know, people won't always remember what you tell them,
Yeah.
but they will always remember how you make them feel.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So,
Which is, have you ever had the conversation with people about celebrities, like seeing them in the LA area or the Burbank airport and stuff like that?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I have people ask me all the time because I say that I'm from Southern California. They're like, oh, did you see a lot of movie stars? Like, yeah.
Like, yeah,
Like,
all the time.
I just think it's hilarious that people think, like, it's this big moment. It's like, it's actually not as exciting as you might think. You know?
Yeah, I think they actually appreciate you more when you just don't bug them.
Oh, yeah. I think the most I've ever done was, you know, like, kind of, I went up to, oh my God, what the hell is his name? I'm trying to remember this dude's name. Black guy. Oh my God. Not Denzel Washington, so don't say it. And not Samuel L. Jackson. Oh,
That's a shame.
Oh, the guy, the best of the best of the best, sir guy from Men in Black. You don't remember this? He was one of the army or Air Force guys sitting in that room.
Yeah. I don't remember the name though.
No, I don't remember his name, but he was at the Burbank airport, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like, I recognize you from Men in Black. Like, I don't know his fucking name, right? But
Yeah.
he's like one of those, you know, low level actors and everything. But I've seen him in other stuff. I know I have. But he's like, yeah, I appreciate you recognize me. I'm like, oh, that's it. You know, I just wanted to meet you. That's all. You know, and I felt like that was too far. Like, because later on, I'm like, that was stupid. I shouldn't have bothered him, you know. But then I think about it. I'm like, really, how many people are going up to say hi to this guy?
That is so mean.
I have actually wanted to, like, hang out with Keanu Reeves, though.
He looks like a cool guy.
Yeah. I heard he rocks out hard when he's with friends and stuff like that. Like, he just picks up his bass guitar and, like, he'll just be there for hours just playing his bass guitar and, like, just going at it. Because he's in a band.
Right.
He's been in a band for how long? You know, it's funny looking at the picture of him and the guy that plays Bill from Bill and Ted.
Ted, yeah.
And how they're actually talking about making a movie now. It's funny because Keanu Reeves looks exactly like he would have turned out if he was Ted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Bill looks like he became an accountant. Which might actually be the way Bill ends up, you know? You don't know. But no,
dude, that's funny.
I'll watch the shit out of that movie, too. I don't care if it's stupid. But yeah. That and Cobra Kai. You seen this shit?
I have seen Cobra Kai.
I thought it was stupid the first time I watched the first trailer. I'm like, this is fucking dumb. Why are we doing this? And then I see the second trailer and I'm like, I'll probably watch it. And then I'm sitting there thinking about it and I watch the second trailer again and I'm like, I want to watch this.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to be good.
Probably
but
not. It's YouTube red, you know.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how I feel about this whole thing about people messing with my nostalgia though.
Yeah, I do go back though, and I will say that I don't. When I finally went back and watched like all the number 1, number 2, number 3 of Karate Kid, the good ones, right? Not the one with Hilary Swank. You know,
you mean the next Karate Kid?
I can't do it. I actually did enjoy the one with Will Smith's son because I thought that was pretty decent.
Kung Fu Kid?
Yeah, no, the Karate Kid, the remake where it was with Jackie Chan. You didn't like that?
You mean Kung Fu Kid?
Yeah, whatever. Yes, Kung Fu Kid.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. I actually enjoyed that.
Kung Fu Kid.
Well, it was Karate Kid though.
It was all Kung Fu.
I know it was all Kung Fu, but it was Karate Kid. Anyway, I actually thought that was a good movie. You know, the kid's acting is still shit, but it was still fun to watch, right? But But when I go back and I first rewatched after being an adult and going back and watching the Karate Kid movies, I realized that I didn't remember hardly any of the fights. Like, the parts that I remember are all the Miyagi parts. Like the teaching moments and like the little life lessons and stuff. Like, that's the kind of stuff I remember because the fighting sucked. The fighting in those movies is kind of shitty.
Yeah, Mr. Miyagi used to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
He didn't really want to do.
Yeah, isn't he Korean?
Yeah, he's Korean.
Yeah, he's not from Okinawa.
Was Korean.
He was Korean. Is he still alive? There's no way that guy's still alive.
No, he's not.
That's sad.
He died like a couple of years ago.
Oh, it's unfortunate. But yes, I want to watch Cobra Kai because I'm weird. Now, I don't understand the premise though. Are they saying that Johnny is starting back up Cobra Kai, right? But is he starting it up to be a good person? No,
he's starting it up because I guess the main character guy is being bullied. So he comes in and just beats the shit out of his bullies.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, well, train me, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, you know what? Maybe I should open this up. And then Daniel sees this again. So he sees it as oh, this guy's trying to open Cobra Kai again, but he's going to, do it so he can train bullies.
Yeah.
But I think his intention of opening Cobra Kai is to teach kids that are being bullied how to defend themselves.
Teach boys how to be men.
So in other words, you may see a Daniel song that's that feels self-entitled, right?
Yeah.
Because
he beat the shit out of Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, didn't really beat the shit out of him, but
he just
kicked his face.
But you know what I mean? His teacher was kind of an asshole. He was just out there to win.
And then you see at the end of the first Karate Kid, I mean, Johnny respects Danny.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Have you seen the alternate thing on YouTube, with the real story of the Karate Kid, where Daniel is actually the
bully?
Yeah. Have you seen this shit? It's actually pretty funny, but it makes sense because Daniel was the one that started all this shit, right? He didn't actually want to hang out with his girlfriend until Johnny got pissed about it. At first, Johnny didn't even give a shit.
Right.
He was just a jerk, some high school jerk, but then Daniel just keeps pushing, and then he finally, gets his teacher in on the whole thing, and does it, but it's kind of funny. You should watch it. I think it's just called The Real Story of the Karate Kid on YouTube, but yeah, I'll definitely watch Cobra Kai. I got done painting my hallway today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, check out my hands, dude. I got paint on them. I'm a real man now. No, it's a bitch. I hate painting. I hate doing any of this housework, but I guess that's what you do when you're a homeowner. Ugh. Oh,
yeah.
I'm not a fan.
See, you're all doing this homeowner stuff shit, and you're
just
complaining about it.
You call up your landlord.
I can't wait to where I'm to the point. I wish that I was to the point where I'm complaining about the stuff that I'm working on versus the stuff that other people are not working on.
Yeah. No, I hear you because I am there. I am happy that I get to work on my own stuff and I get to take care of my own house. But there are some times where I wish some of the groundskeeper would just come and fix the shit.
Yeah.
It's hey, dude, it's leaking. Go fix it. Yeah. So where are we at right now? We're at 149, 150. So with a 2-minute break, we're not doing too bad here.
That's not too bad. So golf season started. Did you see anything of the?
I didn't feel a thing.
You don't give a shit, right? I saw the Masters.
I heard it was actually pretty good this year.
Yeah, it was really good. I was rooting for Ricky.
Ricky don't
Fowler.
Know who that is.
Well, Ricky Fowler's from Temecula, and
good for him.
His caddy is his caddy's dad was one of my coaches when I was going to golf school.
Oh, cool.
Call him Big Lou.
Sweet. Now, what's the actual purpose of the caddy? What are his duties? At a professional level, let's say. In
all honesty, he's the one that has to know the course back and forth. like every inch of that course he has to know.
So really, like Bagger Vance.
Yeah, so the caddy kind of acts like a coach. So he would make, he can't really tell you what to do, but he'll make suggestions on how to play certain holes.
Yeah.
Right, and depending on like where the ball or the pin is placed, he'll suggest like, hey, either hit it long or hit it short, because you want to be like pin high, pin low. You want to be to the left of the green, to the right of the green. This hole, it's probably best for us to play it as a par versus trying to go for birdie.
So Yoda.
So yeah, so it's not like you just go at the hole and try to make birdies on every fucking hole. Some holes, it's not smart to play it for a birdie.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like those high risk, high rewards, but there's also, a high risk, low reward type thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes like playing a hole for par kind of alleviates a little bit of the stress, and it puts more stress on the other person that you're competing against. Right. So if you score a par, maybe they get into the pressure of like, oh shit, like I have a chance here to make a birdie and get ahead, and then they fucking 3-putt bogey
or sandbox.
So yeah, so like I said, there's a lot of strategy involved than what people realize. Like people watching golf, they just see like, oh, he hit it far and that's it. But they don't really, or sometimes they don't necessarily think of why they hit it that far and why they hit that particular shot.
I will give you that, just because I know what happens in NASCAR and Formula One now. Like I actually understand what's happening behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's such a shame. Like I had this guy that went to school with me. He's a former NASCAR driver.
No shit.
And I fucking regret not getting his information, because he would have been perfect for this podcast. But he actually showed me a video of him flipping.
Oh my god!
So he did like 34 flips.
So he did a Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, but he was like saying like how, so you have like 2 or 3 layers of NASCAR, right?
Yeah.
So you have like the outer layers where you see all these rednecks and all this stuff about NASCAR and all this shit. Then on the second layer, it's all like PhD engineers.
Yeah.
Trying to do the performance of the car.
Shave the weight off.
And then in the third layer, the core, like you have like your driver, coaches, and all that stuff, right? Like the guys that are actually doing the work, like the field work.
Yeah.
And he's saying like, like a lot of people are just saying like, oh, it's just a left turn or whatever. But every time they're turning the wheel, like even like 1 degree or half a degree, they're going, please don't flip, please don't flip, please don't flip, please don't flip, please don't flip.
Yeah. And one tiny mistake.
Yeah, and they just fucking go.
Well,
and he showed me the video of his. It's like, see right there, like I turn a little bit, I try to correct a little bit too quickly, and I just fucking
and you don't think that like when you see it, because it doesn't look that fast when you're watching it on TV. When you're there, right. Yes, it looks fast, but when you're in the car,
yeah, I know.
Then it's different. This is, who's actually really into Formula One, like really into Formula One, is Doug.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he knows everything about those cars. Like he got all excited and told me about some new like pins that they were using in the engine that actually had a better weight ratio for either side. I'm like, does it really matter? He's like, oh yeah. And how these companies that have all these cars and stuff, like how they're actually stealing from each other all the time. Like they actually have spies go in and try to sneak into these guys' shops. Wow. Like Mercedes and Ferrari and all these different companies, like the people that they have working for them, they have massive amounts of staff members that just do these weird covert operations to try to figure out how the hell did he get to the line like 0.007 seconds earlier than I did. And that's the coolest thing to me about NASCAR and Formula One, is that these guys aren't fighting for like massive like separations from the other guy. No, they're fighting for milliseconds.
Yeah.
Because it's already gotten to a point where they're like, okay, we've gotten the car to like its max potential. Let's see how much further we can take it.
Yep.
You know, and that's the cool thing to me. I don't know if you said you watched that Tom versus Time documentary, the mini documentary with Tom Brady.
I watched a couple of episodes. I didn't see the whole thing. I watched
the one where the throwing coach, the quarterback's coach, that was talking about Tom and like, you know, guys like Tom, like they don't come in for, you know, learning how to get 5% better, 10% better. They're coming here to get 1% better. Yeah. And that's the craziest thing to me about like professional athletes or drivers or anything like that. I mean, these guys aren't looking like they're already at the top echelon of their profession. All they're trying to do is get a little better than last year.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy to me. And that tiny little percentage will actually put them in a like the legendary category. You know what I mean? It's like just that just the little bit, just the little, you know, that one extra stat that puts them in the unreachable. You know what I mean? It's like Michael Jordan. Nobody's ever going to win that much in basketball.
You don't think so?
I don't know, man. That's a pretty insane stat. I mean, well, pretty much any of his stats. Well, it's like Tom Brady. Tom Brady owns every fucking regular season and postseason stat.
I think I think the Jordan record can be tied or surpassed. The Bill Russell is impossible, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. But I know that Jordan is the measuring stick for essentially every sport, right? Everybody says like you're the Jordan of basketball, the Jordan of football, the Jordan of tennis,
yep.
the Jordan of. But I think it's not. It's reachable.
Yeah. Well, that's
right.
That's like some stats out there. Like there's some kicker stats out there that it's just like there's no way. Just because of rule changes and stuff like that, it's like
right.
Now we're fucked.
There's always that factor, right? But I think that because Jordan has 6 rings, right?
Yeah,
6. Kobe has 5.
Yep.
I believe.
But that's not the only measuring stick. That shouldn't be the only measuring stick.
It is for some Americans. For most of Americans, right? It's just championships. It's not necessarily.
I still think you have to look at the way he played.
Like
the dominance was insane,
dude. Like I said, Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. You know,
and
I love the guy. He has like amazing stats. We'll never have a championship.
But that's what I mean. It's like you have to have everything in conjunction. That's like I could say that also Aaron Rodgers is a better all-around physical quarterback than Tom Brady. But will he ever reach that level?
If you don't have the team, then no. And that's the thing. Like Jordan, as good as Jordan is or was, he had the team.
For the most part, yes. This is why I don't understand why like teams like the one when you have the Lakers, they had Kobe and Shaq, and didn't they have Rodman as well for a little while?
I don't remember. I think they did.
I mean, but they also had like a handful of guys on that team at the same time that could be starters on teams today.
Right, but the thing is, like we're at a time where the athletes are better, the technology is better, right?
Yeah.
So think about golf, for example. So Jack Nicklaus has 18 majors. The closest one to that is Tiger Woods with 14.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why Tiger is not still dominating is because most of these new young athletes that are coming out are so fucking good.
They're his Tiger,
and they're pretty leveled. You know, it's not like there's a big gap between them.
Yeah.
So at any given Sunday, it could be today it could be Ricky, tomorrow it could be Jason Day.
Yeah.
The next day it could be somebody else,
But
right?
I like it better that way.
So it's really spread out. So and when if you look in like 2000, 2001, when like Tiger just went like fucking won like year after year after
Like
year
a
after year.
Cloud.
His biggest like competition was Phil Mickelson, but Tiger was still winning by like 10 strokes.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Now you see like this last Master, like you see people winning by 1.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It's crazy.
So I guess what I'm saying is like in the basketball, like the Michael Jordan record in basketball is reachable.
But that's just that's a stat.
But you really, really got to have the team. You got to have the player.
Yeah.
Like,
and this is the thing
like
that
I
I
said,
say, like, would Tom Brady be who he is without Bill Belichick, and would Bill Belichick be who he is without Tom Brady? This is that big debate that's been going on.
Yeah,
and it's like,
and I honestly, my answer is I don't know.
I have no idea, and that's why I say, like, with those kind of, because there was years there's a lot of years during Tom Brady's tenure where he had no team.
Well, I mean, I guess the answer would be no, because you just got to see it. Phil Jackson and Kobe.
Fucking Phil Jackson, man. Phil Jackson with Kobe. I mean, Phil Jackson when he brought in Shaq, that was almost like I remember as like when I was younger, hearing about this shit, going, "Whoa, you can't do that." Like, I mean, because think about it. It's like that's like saying, shit. I don't even have a comparison for that because it's like that is so unfair on so many different levels because you have your point guard, right? Now you have your enforcer. Not only do you have your enforcer, you have the best enforcer. So what do you? Oh, what? We're just gonna do alley-oops all day long? And that's almost basically what they did.
Yeah.
But I love those little dynamics that happen in sports. Like those little moments where a team or a player or some athlete gets with the right people, and you just see them just boom take off.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of like the biggest stars in sports. Like even Michael Jordan was a star when he's in college, right?
Yeah.
He was a star in high school, and I mean, but
baseball player.
Well, when Michael Jordan was placed with the right people, it's like yes, he was great before, but when you put these people around him, it's like, I mean, the guy's untouchable.
Yep.
I don't know.
With the foul that wasn't a foul.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started.
Dude, it was a foul.
It was a foul.
I mean,
and this is why I say, like, I go back to the the conference championship game against the Raiders, the tuck rule game. Have you seen this shit?
No.
Where they had just changed the rule to where if a quarterback's arm is moving forward even in the slightest, it's an incomplete pass if it hits the ground. If it doesn't move, if his arm is not moving forward at all and he drops the ball, it's a fumble. And this is during that little rule change. And this is what pisses off Raiders fans so much because that's what led to Tom Brady's first Super Bowl win against the Rams. Speaking of which, did you see who the Rams have picked up this offseason?
No.
Okay, let me give you a little. Okay, so the Rams already have Aaron Donald, one of their defensive tackles, one of the best, absolute monster. Like, I mean, I've seen that guy destroy offensive lines single-handedly. They went out and picked up Ndamukong Suh, like number 2 in the league, behind Aaron Donald. So now they have these two guys. They picked up both Aqib Talib at cornerback. I don't know if you've heard of Aqib Talib. He was with the Patriots, then he went to the Denver Broncos. A really good cornerback, but very aggressive cornerback. So they picked up him, and on the other side at cornerback, they have Marcus Peters, formerly of the Chiefs. Another really good cornerback. And then they got all these other guys, like their defense alone looks scary as shit. Like it looks like impossible to throw on.
Right.
Then they picked up Brandon Cooks from the Patriots, who's one of the fastest receivers in the league. And now they're coupling this with, I mean, you know, a slew of other guys. There's a bunch of guys out there now predicting that in that division, who's the Rams, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the 49ers, that the top two teams in that division will be the Rams and the 49ers, and the Seahawks won't get more than 4 wins this year.
Oh.
Yeah, huge change.
So you're saying this year I should root for the Rams?
I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that the 49ers take it just because of Jimmy Garoppolo going there and Christelle liking the 49ers. But, you know, I would like to see the Rams kick the shit out of the Seahawks twice a year. That would make my day. And the Seahawks are in a spiral. Like, complete, utter failure. But your Vikings previously.
My previous Vikings.
Vikings picked up, what's his name? Kirk Cousins. And he could actually push them. You know, he's not a great quarterback, but he's certainly better than guys like Case Keenum. And you saw what they did with him.
I didn't think Keenum was that bad, though.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
It's bad, but it's just that bad.
He's not that bad. Dude had no neck. Can't be a quarterback with no neck. Dude was ugly as hell. What was that from? Guy was whatever. It reminds me of the speech in Coming to America when they're in the barber shop and they're having the argument over Muhammad Ali and Rocky Marciano.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there we go. Every time I mention Muhammad Ali, some white guy got to pull out a Rocky Marciano out his ass. He beat Joe Lewis's ass. Joe Lewis was 167 years old. Oh, I'm going to stop doing blackface on radio. That's terrible.
It is. So, yeah, I mean, it was sports heavy. People, but that was fun. I had fun. Did you have fun?
I did. Yep, and we destroyed some
myths
about women in sports, and
we'll have it we'll have it baseball heavy.
Yeah. And I'm going to ask him do you think that a woman could hit your pitch?
Open a whole can of worms.
And then the following episode should be a feminist.
I don't know any feminists. I mean, I guess Erin it's kind of a feminist.
Yeah, but she was kind of light. You know, I mean, she. I want like a fuck you motherfucker, you know, like type of feminist. Somebody that's gonna hate on me the whole 2 hours.
Dude, I don't think they'll last the 2 hours.
You think they'll just click off and ask me not to?
They'll just be like, they won't even say like, I'm done with you guys. They'll just be like, click.
Probably.
And
I'd be nice.
It'll be like the shortest podcast ever recorded for us.
I'll be really passive aggressive.
It'll be like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should get a masculine or whatever you call them. Not like a male version. Like a total asshole.
A total dick.
A maleist. Masculinist, is that what it's called?
Masculine. Macho man.
An asshole.
I don't know. I don't know what you call him.
That would be fun. You get him on there, and then we can show everybody that we're not actually all in favor of just men. Be like, fuck this guy. You know.
Should I get what's it like a male stripper?
Oh God.
Chippendale.
Make sure he's gay.
Magic Mike.
Yeah. Thunder from Down Under. Whatever. Yeah.
Hey, like if I know a BDSM master, I gotta know like a male stripper, right?
You know what? He might know somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, because
I'll ask their Jag.
Because they know everybody, right? Like they have to. I'm not saying like in a bad way either. I'm like, just because of their profession and their hobbies, they probably come across all types of different people, right? like
Yeah,
different
but I
walks
think
of
they would
life.
like to stay private, though.
Maybe.
I don't think that'll pan out. I don't think that'll pan
Yeah.
out.
I gotta find somebody. Maybe I'll just
So,
wait outside of Chippendales.
While we are on the subject of Chippendales, so this
got a
whole
new
shit in
job.
Syria's
Oh, no.
no, this whole shit in Syria's all fucked up, man. Jesus,
It's fucking crazy.
Christ.
Now I have no idea. Like, okay, first of all, I don't care who launched the chemical weapons, but fuck you.
Yeah,
I really don't know, because I've been hearing reports that it's either, it's the Syrians, it's Assad, but I've also heard shit that it was the UK and that it was Russia.
Yeah, and some of them are saying that it was Israel.
I'm pretty sure Israel wouldn't do something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, but
I don't think they're that fucked up.
It'd be good to get Doug's take on it, because a lot of people are saying like, well, what a coincidence that it's like right after like Trump was saying that he was gonna pull like all the troops from Syria,
And all of a sudden the attacks start.
and all of a sudden there's air quotes an attack, and like, so everybody's like saying like the U.S. made the attack or the UK made the attack in order to keep him there.
That would be fucked
Or Israel ordered the attack in order to keep the U.S. in there because they.
Well, I predict some crazy shit going on around May 14th, because that's when the embassy moves. And I don't know. I understand that it pisses the Arab nations off, but it's like it shouldn't. It's just that's historically the capital of Israel.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for everyone. For their ideas.
I like, everybody was like, oh, it's the end. Like, oh my God, I think it's going like World War III. And I'm like, no, it's.
I don't think,
I don't
you
think
can say what
it's
you want
that...
about Trump. I don't think he's stupid enough to get pulled into a war.
No, and I don't think so either.
Because I don't think he wants to get money that way. Despite how much money you can make from starting a war, because you can make fuckload of money, I don't think that he would do something like that. Do I believe Hillary would have? Yes.
Yeah, I really don't have like too much on this matter. I just wanted to say it was fucked up. Chemical weapons, dude.
I couldn't watch those videos. I tried. I watched some of it, and then I saw that really little kid just choking. I'm like, I'm done. I can't believe that there's people that do things like that without any thought or care. Like, who the fuck are you? Like,
yeah.
Does this person sleep well? Because they shouldn't.
Dude, I don't know.
I've seen some videos though of a bunch of Syrians saying thank you to the U.S.
Yeah, I have seen those too, and
that was on CNN too.
Which was really, really weird to me, because usually, they're all about the whole.
Well, I saw the one, but the person asking the questions, that lady, she was not happy about what he was saying. It was pretty obvious. She probably expected something completely different.
Yeah, she probably was going to say, oh no, leave us alone. Da, da, da. And she would have been like smiling and shit, like, yeah, we should leave you alone.
Yeah, she was pissed.
But no, he was like, the guy was like genuinely happy. And I think I don't know if you had this, I had that experience when I was in LUD.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So when I was in LED, like met this guy. I can't remember his name. I don't think I ever exchanged names with him, because everybody over there always calls you my brother, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you had that. Like Turkish, the Turkish are like that too.
Oh, yes.
but in LED, everybody's like my brother. Like, how are you? But I always saw this guy. Like he would always like make my eggs and stuff, like when in the chow hall, like in the morning, and he was always like, my brother, how are you, right? And this one time, like, I saw him at the little BX or whatever that we had at the store.
Yeah.
And we kind of made the question like, hey, how do you guys like genuinely feel about us being here? And he was just like, oh, my brother, and he's like holding like his hand to his heart, he's just saying like the biggest gratitude, like, you know, thanks to you guys, like I actually have a job, like I can provide for my family, like it's like that my streets are safer, and it was just like genuinely like so much gratitude in this person's face and like his expressions. And it's just like, yeah, how come CNN doesn't see this?
Yeah. Well, I told you
know?
about, we talked about the doctor in Kyrgyzstan, right?
Yes.
Who was a janitor. We're basically a janitor. And what did he say he made from off of the military as opposed to what he, like it was like 3 times more than what he made as a doctor.
He would make more in a week than he would make in like the full month or whatever.
Oh, dude.
And he was just like,
and those were some of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah, and he wasn't the only one. Like there was another one that he's a history teacher.
Yeah.
And he was also telling me like, you know, he's like, I feel bad because I have a master's degree. Essentially, that's what he told me. I'm a history teacher, but I make more money here as a clerk than I would able to do like outside. So
yeah, and we pay a fuckload of money just to stay in one place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, this is the biggest argument I usually have with people that say that we're big bullies as the U.S. It's like, you know, I can understand where that thinking comes from. I really do. You know, like, because it does appear that way a lot of the time, right? Especially with shit like the Iraq War. You know, it's like, why don't we just leave them alone? Well, it's like, well, there's more to it than just oil, I promise you. You know, there's some guys that, yes, we put in power, but we still had to stop them, you know?
Yeah.
you know, mostly because it's our fucking fault. You know, like Saddam Hussein. Like, that was one bad motherfucker. You know, and what happens if we didn't go? You know, but I understand where the bully mentality comes from. I really do. You know, we're not the world's police. I get it.
I mean, to that, I would say, go to a third world country and live there for a month.
Yeah.
And then you tell me if what we do is not
humanitarian,
a necessity.
Yeah.
Not necessarily humanitarian, but a necessity.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of have to have that big dick.
You can't just do regime changes, and you can't just do aid. That shit doesn't work. You know, like sending rice. That does not cure a country.
No.
It's like we've been doing that for Africa for how long? And because of the tribalism and stuff and the warlords and stuff, it's like, dude, rice is not going to help.
No.
Especially when the warlords are stealing it. Cutting off people's hands.
I would say that, like, politics aside, you know? Like, politics aside, like, and this whole thing about, you know, how you feel about whoever's in power, like the president and all that stuff, I would say that... How do I say this, dude? Oh, I don't know if you saw that, like or if you heard the last or one of the last podcasts that Joe Rogan had with Joey Diaz.
No.
They were talking about like this book. I can't remember the name of his friend. It's but the book is called The Corporation. So they're talking about the Cuban crime organizations.
Yeah.
And, you know, and they're talking about a little bit about like Cuban culture, socialist cultures, and communism, and also like Che Guevara came about.
Yeah.
And he's like saying like, how the fuck did Che Guevara like even pop out? Like all of a sudden, like in the 2000s, like you started just seeing like his shirts about like the symbol, like the face of like socialism and all that stuff. It's like the guy was a fucking cunt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and now as I'm listening, I'm yelling, "Thank you!" Like, because everybody here in Mexico, especially like around like high schoolers, and he's asking like, what is it so appealing? What is it about a Che Guevara that's so appealing about, to like teenagers and like these socialism countries and stuff, and and they didn't go into too much in depth about it, but in my mind I went like, oh, that's simple. It's fucking that movie, Motorcycle Diaries.
Yeah.
That's essentially what did it. But no, this guy was fucking ruthless.
Yeah. Not a good dude.
He has so many like he would get like. He would like execute people like in front of families and shit. He was not a very nice dude.
That's like celebrating the Emperor Nero on a T-shirt.
Yeah, it's like he's like not the guy that you want as like the face of like the poster boy for what is it? A Better World. It's not him.
Yeah,
it's not him. So I guess where I'm going with that is everybody has like this little thing of like, oh well, he did so much good stuff and whatever, yada yada yada, and it's just like
so did Al Capone.
Set the politics aside and all that stuff, and go by what the people actually tell you.
Yeah,
because there's always going to be two sides, right?
Yeah,
or more. And like I said, when I was in LUD, that's what I saw. I saw people being extremely grateful. Now, did some people get the short end of the stick?
Yeah,
of course. I don't deny it. I don't try to justify it. But that's life.
Yeah,
life is not fair, right?
Well, I think the hardest thing for people to realize is that classes will always be there, no matter what.
Yeah,
and they're not bad things. Even poverty, it's like, I understand that, poverty can be a terrible thing, but it almost acts as like a motivator. And this, most of the people that we have in our history that became these great men and women came from poverty. And we wouldn't have certain things like, E equals MC squared without this poor little boy who never knew how to do math. And never did well in school because his parents couldn't afford it, But I would say if you really want socialism, I would go talk to a Venezuelan first.
Yeah, dude.
Because they went full on into socialism. They voted for it, and they asked for the full bread basket, not just a little bit of socialism. They ask for the full thing. So if you hear anybody say that real socialism has never been tried, it's been tried. And we actually have one happening right now.
Yeah. I think the one that sort of worked, like I said, in the perfect world, communism is like the best form of government.
Yeah, it's utopia.
Right? But it only works if in an ant colony.
Yeah, it doesn't work with humans.
Like Cuba tried it, and I think it sort of works because it's so small, but they're so fucking oppressed.
Yep.
And like I said, one of my friends actually went to Cuba, and he's saying like, yeah, like it's really weird because like you have a lot of people there, and you still use like a barter system, right?
Yeah.
Like I would have like T-shirts, and he was like, "Oh, I'll trade that T-shirt for this and that or whatever." So I got he's like, I gave him a like whatever brand T-shirt he had, and he got like some towels and something like that said Cuba on him. But he said that some people were like, "Oh, like hey, like okay, so what's your honest take on Fidel?"
Yeah.
Right. And he said that a lot of them were like, oh, like, yeah, Fidel forever type thing.
Yeah.
He changed a lot of stuff in here in Cuba. Other people were like they would kill me if this
speak
makes
my
it to like
mind.
the wrong ears type thing. Yeah, and others were just like, "Hey, I'll do whatever you want.
Just
Just
get me the fuck out of here.
Get me out of this fucking island. Like you can like do some paperwork to have me go visit you in Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll just won't come back."
Yeah.
and he said he got an offer, like a guy offered him his daughter.
Yeah.
Just to like get her out of the island, and it's just like he's like, she'll have a better opportunity. You know, she's already 18.
Like you don't even have to keep her. You know.
Like she'll, yeah, like you can do whatever you want with her. Just get her out of the island. And it's like, whoa.
Yep. But that's the way it is. Well, I think we should end on communism, and maybe the next episode we'll move on to capitalism and talk about how horrible it is.
Well, we're gonna be talking a lot of sports, right? So
Capitalism.
send in your question, people. Like seriously, Charles is like a really, really cool guy.
Yeah, and we should be bugging our listeners for the next 2 weeks to get some real questions. Yeah.
Yeah. Life as a baseball player.
Yeah. All right, people. Well, we had fun. Talked about a few different things, and went a little long, but we hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the NBTLT podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, or shoutengine.com. Write to us on our website at nbtltpodcast.com or send us an email at mail@nbtltpodcast.com. Our bumper music is provided by bensound.com, and you can find us on all social media. And hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel.